Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is Saints Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that to the Black and Gold family, man. We in this thing Saturday stream. Saints Eagles in play for safety, Tyrann Mathieu. Much love to the greats. Think tank, and like I've been saying for some time now, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. I'm Big Q. I'm in the building. Much love to the Who Dat Nation, the Black and Gold Nation, the great Saint Tank. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all for joining me on this Saturday stream. It's been a busy week for myself, but I appreciate you guys for being in a live stream on this one, man, as we're going to talk a little black and gold on this Sunday, I guess you say afternoon. Now it's about to hit 12 o'clock my time. And yes, indeed, rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. That's something that just happened as a Steelers quarterback, former first-round draft pick quarterback out of Ohio State, was hit by a car and killed. According to Adam Schefter, who broke this first, he died at 24 after being hit by a car in South Florida. This information came to Schefter per Haskins' agent. Now, Haskins joined the Steelers before the 21 season and looked to be in the mix for the battle for the starting quarterback position with Roethlisberger. Details are scarce at the moment, but any updates will be forthcoming. So big ups to the fam. Thank y'all for joining me here. And rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins and his family. Thank you, Trey, for being a member for 17 months, a Pro Superstar member. ESPN can't flock with us ever. That's right. What's up, Trey? Thank you, fam. Appreciate you being here. Much love to the fam and all the fantastic family members that's in the stream on this. Some very bad news to hear about Brother Haskins. The man only was 25 years of age. Could you believe that? Only 25. 25 years of age, hit by a car. We got to find out, hopefully they'll have more information about this. Former draft pick for the Washington team is dead at the age of 24. So rest in peace to Dwayne and condolences to the Haskins family from us here at the Who Dat Nation. So much love to the fam as we get going. Please feel free to hit the like button. Thank y'all for joining me on this installment. In this installment of the show, family, we're going to cover some stuff. Talking about Tyrann Mathieu, obviously the show's named Saints Eagles in play for safety Tyrann Mathieu. What does it take to sign such a player in Tyrann Mathieu? How much money is it? We'll go over it. And how much money do the Saints currently have? We'll show it. We'll put that on screen and go through all of that. We'll talk about all the last few days worth of Saints content and news. We'll go over that on this edition. And congratulations to Will Lutz and his wife having a beautiful little baby. They just had their baby, and I'd like to say a big shout out to our fantastic all-pro kicker and his family, Will Lutz, and a new addition to the family. So much love to Will Lutz and his fam, man, and congratulations on your baby coming into the world. So we'll go over that as well. I'll share with the family members Mock 16, TSC Mock number 6, as we hurtle faster and faster toward the back end of this month's NFL playoffs. NFL draft coming up. I'm thinking Pelican stuff. But I'm ready for this. Also, we had a Pelican post-game report tonight as well. And we'll open up the phone lines after this matchup tonight against the whoever we playing. But it's been a long-ass week. Anywho, Much love to the family. Big shout out to the Who Dat Nation in the building, man. Appreciate y'all being in here. Brother Scoob, what's up, Scoob? What's happening, pimpin'? Brother Larry Williams, who that to you as well. Elites in the building. Big Ant as well. Much love. Devin C. Tro Blewett, what's up, Tro? Good to see you in the chat, fam. Much love. All right, who else we got chilling? Who that Dana? What's up, Queen? Young City Night Ward. Teal, my dog Teal is in the building. What's up, Teal? Lewis, who that to you? Farouk, what's up, fam? BR Fitted 225's in the building. Who that Nation's in the building. Josh Goat 23. Who that to your brother JT? Who that to your brother Jared Port Jr.? Snake Bites in the building as well. Who that to y'all? Joseph Thomas, I see you, fam. Much love to you. All right, brother Donald's in the building as well. Who that to you? Trey Joseph, my dog's in the building as well. Much love to the fam. Quovatus, I hope I'm saying your name right. Quovatus is in the building as well. Who that to you? DJ Philco. What's up, DJ Philco? Who that to you as well? Appreciate all the family members for chiming in. Please feel free to hit upon the like button if you hadn't hit. What's up, Josh? Josh in his bag. Big ups to you, fam. Joe Wiley, what's up? And man, Slade, what's happening, fam? Appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Brother Prime is in the building as well. Much love to the Great Saint Think Tank and much love to all y'all. Appreciate y'all. So with that being said, thank you, Brother Prime, for being a member for the last 19 months. Pro Star 1 is in the building. Much love to all of the Patreon champions and the YouTube membership family. Appreciate all y'all for y'all ongoing support. And just let the family members know there's new merch coming out for the Saints. And there are several designs and collections that was released via the Pro Shop for Pelican merch for the PPR. So there are it's a bunch of stuff we just released. And I've been working on these designs over the last several weeks. I've been working on some website stuff, working on some books, working on some stuff, just working, man. Been real busy. And being family man and doing all that other stuff as well. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do today as well. So anyway, with that being said, man, let's get into some of the news notes and items. Please feel free to hit the like button as we get the shit and bacon in this joint. All right, we'll start it off with this one from straight off from the Bleacher Report. It's Tyrann Mathieu rumors. Eagles had a virtual visit with the free agent safety after the Saints meeting. And of course, let's go over this article. And we know that Tyrann Mathieu had several quotes that, in articles that made mention of the fact that, and this one from NFL.com says, Saints don't really need me, but it would be good to go back home. I don't know about that. I think the Saints do have a need for you, Tyrann, even though the Saints could say, you know what, let's just hold PJ Williams there for 1 year. But if you're talking about being a team that competes and Tyrann Mathieu's there, you might want to consider making that move, that jump. But anyway, let's get into this one by Dork Sam, veteran defensive back. Thank you, Brother Prime. He says, I told y'all that Taysom is a tight end 12-5. Well, that's a good place to see where he is, man. Donald says, Big Q, I see my cousin Keenan. West Bank Lewis was recruiting Tyrann Mathieu, both New Orleans guys, both from the 7th Ward. I like that. Yeah, Donald, that's good, man. And yeah, I like Keenan Lewis. I always like Keenan Lewis, man. He was a fantastic player. He had a lot of guts, too. He wouldn't let nobody push him around, and I respect that. So, I mean, much love. All right, what's up, Mont Dog? How you doing, brother? Who that to your brother? Tragic is in the building as well. Good to see y'all in here. Much love to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. All right, so veteran defensive back Tyrann Mathieu is one of the best free agents yet to be signed, and his market is reportedly picking up steam. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported Thursday that Mathieu had a virtual meeting with the Eagles. Prior to that, he met with the Saints early this week. Rappaport called the Eagles a prime location for the star safety. Now, he also reported that Mathieu was in no rush, and we've been saying that, to find a deal and wants to hold out. Hold out, and that's the key thing. Wants to hold out for the right money and wants to hold out for the right team. So that's a big part of why this is going very slow. So other people to get involved as it get close to the draft. After the draft, idyllic. It would be a wise move to sign prior to the draft, because after the draft, usually a lot of the needs have been met for certain teams. So it has not been, I guess to say, hadn't been unheard of that a player will say, you know what, I'm cool. I can even go beyond the draft. A smart thing, I'm just keeping it real, would be to try to see if you can have that window of getting them signed or signed prior to the draft, because all those teams go into the draft and they draft all these young guys and they fill a lot of needs. So free agency, if you won't get that paper now, you better get it now before the draft comes, because as it prolongs, it gets a little lower and lower and lower as they spending more money. But as you can see, this is the big caveat of what's going on with Tyrann Mathieu, is the fact that he wants to hold out for the right money and wants to hold out for the right team. Now, the right team is a team that's competing. Like when he was with he was mentioned, Tyrann Mathieu mentioned earlier in the previous interview yesterday that he was heartbroken by the fact that the Chiefs didn't bring him back to the team. And of course, he played there for 3 years and won a championship there. So that's where he wants to be. He wants to be in a situation where he thinks he can compete for a championship and have the money to go along with it. So what would that look like, fam? You know, what would the money look like for Tyrann Mathieu? You know, so I did a little research here, and of course, I had to bring up my sport track here. As you can see right here, it's estimated that the Saints have $19.4 million before the free agency. I mean, before the draft comes rolling in. So what would it look like? What would a deal for Tyrann look? Well, Sport Track got you covered on that, as you can see. So if you look at Tyrann Mathieu's annual, and this is what Sport Track is forecasting what his contract would look like. And this is pretty much close to what what he's looking for. This is it. A 3-year deal, right? At 44.5 million, 3 years. 3-year deal. Now, granted, that contract wouldn't even get him close to the top 4 guys there. As you can see, Harrison Smith's way up there, Eddie Jackson, Justin Simmons, and Jamal Adams there. But Tyrann Mathieu, 29 years of age, 9 years in the league, estimated $4.8 million annually. Brother Scoob says 4 years, $50 million. And this could be something. Would the Saints be interested in doing this? Would the Saints be interested in doing this thing? And in truth be told, you know, that's the money. That's what he's looking like. This is what you have to pay to grab a Tyrann Mathieu. That is what he's sitting there saying. It got to be the right money. It got to be the right team. Well, guess what? The Saints do have the money. They could make this deal work. They could work. Now, granted, the Saints don't have to pay him, bulk up the money on the first year. You know what's going to end up happening when this deal gets done. It'll be a multi-year deal. It'll be a 4-year deal with several phantom years attached to the back end of it to absorb as much of it off into the non-playable years as possible. And of course, the first year would be wouldn't be sitting up there at 14.8. Of course, it'll be drastically reduced to something like about $5 or less than $7 million. Wouldn't be surprised to be sitting up there at $2 or $3 or $4 million. You know how Mickey and Kai Harley like to roll out these deals. But this is what the holdup is, what Tyrann Mathieu's waiting for. 3 years, 44.5. Scoob says 4 years, $50 million. Incentive, Scoob probably will put you up in that thing. So you're absolutely right on that, bro. So yeah, the Honey Badger, man, ain't gonna come cheap, man. But listen, the Saints do have a spot for the Honey Badger back there next to Marcus Mays. So we just have to see what happens, fam. But this is the money. All right, what's up, B-Mac? Good to see you in the chat, fam. Much love to brother B-Mac as well. CJ's in the building. What's up, fam? How you doing, Linda? She says, would you rather make a trade for a quality wide receiver or sign the Honey Badger? Who do you have in mind, Linda? I mean, to me, you know, we talked about this too last week, right? Didn't we, fam? We talked about the fact that the black and gold had an opportunity to make a trade with the Miami Dolphins, who we trade with all the time, and pick up a wide receiver named Devontae Parker for basically nothing, for what the New England Patriots got for him. And he had 2 years remaining on his contract right around 5.6 or $6 million, less than $6 million for the 2 years per year that he had on his contract. And he would have been a fine addition to the Saints wide receiver room. The Saints just didn't look. They didn't even whip that. And of course, it's weird that you asked that. Appreciate you for asking that, because I have an article I'm gonna cover with all the latest free agent wide receivers that's still available. And at some point, because the Saints are roughly a couple of weeks now from the draft, which is on the 28th, 29th. We're currently on the 9th. So we got several weeks remaining before the NFL draft. And of course, they made gestures toward guys. And, in a minute we're going to cover, because this happened with Brandin Cooks. The Saints went and started what you want for Brandin Cooks. The next thing you know, what the Texans did, they went and issued that extension. So the Saints were doing their due diligence on certain wide receivers and filling around to find it. But Parker, and I was saying Devontae Parker would have been a good addition to the Black Gold. Remember Mike and him had the little spat over social media. But Parker would have been fantastic in the Saints wide receiver room. The Saints just didn't have the vision to go and see about getting that guy. And the Patriots, and I'm pretty sure the Dolphins, if they had another suitor to drag them out of the AFC into the NFC, they more than likely would have went with you, because we always trade with the Dolphins. We always have deals going back and forth with the Miami Dolphins. They're a very agreeable team when it comes to trading with the Saints and the Dolphins. We do move them people back and forth. So it would have been good for us to grab a Parker and bring him on the team with Mike, and then draft another guy, put him there, and then all of a sudden the wide receiver room is elevated in talent. They simply didn't have the imagination to pull the move off, because they have the draft capital to do it, and they have the money to do it. So what's left for you not to do that is the imagination. Now, there are other wide receivers out there. I don't like the Odell Beckhams, and because he wants money. The Jarvis Landry's out of his mind, talking about $20 million a season. Man, completely is Looney Tunes. He took too many shots to the head. You're not going to get that. But if he would settle more, because what he's making, 14, 15 million before they released him out of Cleveland, you're not going to get that stuff. So if you're the Black and Gold, you sit up here looking directly at the draft at this point. Now, they did mull around with guys like Brandin Cooks and others, but the Parker move, boy, not having imagination, be able to see working parts of how things go, man, that really hurt us to let them trade the man to the Patriots. That's an in-division move between the Dolphins and the Patriots to get a good quality young wide receiver for 2 years left on his deal. It's just south of $6 million per season for those 2 years. How you missed that? How the hell did you miss that? How did you miss it? That was perfect. That would have gave you a young wide receiver with 2 years on the contract remaining. That would have been perfect. But we just totally got past that. But anyway, like I said, fam, let's keep it moving here. We're going to go it, because to speak about the same moves was about with Brandin Cooks. And this was one of the things, because the Saints were mulling around saying, hey, man, we need to look at seeing about B. Cooks over here. Now, of course, we go from Mike having a little issue on social media with one guy versus having another issue with this guy, which ultimately is why Cooks got, canned here because they wanted Mike to be the man and Cook didn't want to relinquish the role. But anyway, we get older. We get more mature, you want to say. But Saints have inquired about Cooks, and this was last year. The reunion makes sense with both parties. Yeah, they inquired about him. But shortly after the acquiring, bam! The Texans then give receiver Brandin Cooks a 2-year extension. Bam! And of course, this was coming up from ESPN. The Texans wide receiver Brandin Cooks agreed to a 2-year extension, according to Schefter on Thursday. And of course, the Saints were mulling around. Now, prior to the extension, Cooks was owed $12.5 million on his base salary for 22 as a part of a deal that he signed with the Rams in 2018 and restructured by Houston last year. Now, Cooks was in the final year of his contract, and Cooks, who played in 14 games in all but his rookie season in 2014, has hit 1,000 yards receiving in 6 of his 8 NFL campaigns. Fowler from ESPN reported that Houston had received interest from multiple teams for the wide receiver, including the Black and Gold, and they were like, you know what? Let's go bam and just lock B. Cooks down. But 12.5 base salary is what he made, the prior year. And the Saints were like, man, we'll take that. What are we going to do here? We'll take B Cooks. Well, Saints, you know what? Let's use some imagination here. Let's go into the best fits. And really, this is they're saying the best fits, but these are the most well-known wide receivers that's still available. And this doesn't cover the Keelan Coles. It doesn't cover the D.D. Westbrooks. It doesn't cover those guys, these are guys that you can get for next to nothing. And I'm probably thinking the Saints, if they really want to bring a guy like that in, a camp body like they did some many moons ago, if you guys remember, when we brought the wide receiver in that used to play for I want to say the Titans, and then he retired on us. What was that guy's name, man? We were so excited about him, us getting him, but then he retired. I don't know. What was his name? Help me out, fam, in the chat. Help me out in the chat. All right. So anyway, the top wide receiver still available on the market and free agent. Every free agent signed expected to bring valuable wide receiver is easily one of the more glamorous spots. After all, the position accounts for a major percentage of scoring given in the NFL season. Last year, for example, 45 wideouts caught 5+ touchdowns. For comparison, 31 running backs scampered to the end zone at least 5 times. Finding a productive wide receiver can provide a critical boost to an offense of today. We're identifying the prime landing spots. And of course, we don't care where, outside of the Saints, where these guys land. Of course, if they land in the NFC South, then we have to pay attention. But they got Cole Beasley on this list as a guy that you can look at. Now, a lot of black and gold family members say, yeah, Cole Beasley is a guy that'll help you in the slot. No doubt about it. He's very productive. And the cost-cutting move, Buffalo saved $6 million when it released Beasley. And, of course, what would Beasley look like in a black and gold capacity? All right. Was it? No, it wasn't Kenny Britt, Smallville. Y'all did. What's up, Prime? Prime says, Q, I'm the only family member that is tired of the national media obsession with the Saints drafting the QB, which one in the first defense. He says, which one in the first deep defensive tackle and OT or 2 wide receivers? Well, that's the word on the street, Brother Prime, is that the Saints made this move in anticipation of grabbing one of those quarterbacks. And of course, they kind of made they're gonna. It's definitely one of them is gonna be a wide receiver, but the anticipation. No, it wasn't Meredith Quavadas. It wasn't him. No, it wasn't Hogan. I mean, y'all keep on reaching at me. Y'all gonna get it because it was a wide receiver we brought here. And remember, he just quit. I ain't gonna say he quit. I want to say he just retired. So let me get the Great Saint Think Tank brains to circulating to see who it is. My dog says Sullivan at the 6th, Cedric Ellis at the 7th, Sheldon Rankins at the 12th pick. None of them could stay healthy or had long careers, but Mickey loved drafting defensive tackles in the first. Larry says sign Tyrann and Jarvis now. Yeah, Jarvis is out of his mind, bro. He wants $20 million a season. That's not gonna happen. Salute to your brother, Black Preacher Man, sports fan, Khalid. Appreciate you, bro. All right, salute to you. No, it wasn't Hogan, brother Jerry. There you go, Matthews. That's right. That Chemo, you the man, bro. Chemo says Matthews. Y'all remember Matthews? What was his first name, bro? What was the man's first name, man? Because he was with the Patriots and he was with the Titans, and he came here. Was it Rashad Matthews? I think you're right, Chemo. That's right. That's him. Y'all remember Rashad Matthews came here and he was doing, nah, it wasn't Wilson, brother JT. It was Rashad Matthews. Y'all remember him? He came to the Saints. He was doing some good stuff, and then he just retired on the Saints. He just retired. He just left. Y'all remember that? This was several years ago, man. We do a lot of content, so y'all probably forgot it. Yeah, Teal, you got it. It's Rashad Matthews, the wide receiver. Used to play for the Tennessee Titans, remember? He had speed. He was a veteran there, could work inside, outside, was a good slot man. And then he just quit. And that's what they consider like a Cole Beasley type, like a great slot weapon for the black and gold. I don't know if they're looking at a guy like that. They want a compliment, I guess, to kind of sit next to Mike. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. has terrific talent, but I'm not cool with the Odell because the money. And I know we got the money, but I just him and then Mike coming off an injury and then Beckham coming off an injury. That's too many goddamn people coming off. That's too many people coming off an injury. Let's Mike is healthy coming into this thing. Odell coming off injury. Nah, brother. You had your chance to come here last year, and then you pushed on to the Rams. You got your little ring out there, brother. So, we're going to pass on you. We don't need two guys coming off of injuries like that right now. Nah, brother, it's okay. And what seems idyllic would be Will Fuller, right? Will Fuller's a guy that has just a burner level speed. He can catch too. But the issue with Will is he usually be hurt too. But the problem is Will's healthy this year. He didn't have to go through rehabs like an Odell Beckham, but he has blazing speed and would provide a wide receiver to take the top off against opposing defenses. And Will Fuller definitely has that. And Jameis Winston would definitely throw that ball out. Yeah, you're right, Till. That's too many damn injuries. You got Odell Beckham hurt, Mike coming off. No, bro, no. We need somebody that was healthy last year or that is healthy now, and Odell's still rehabbing. But Will Fuller is another guy that a lot of people position to be with the black and gold to say, listen, Will Fuller's not going to cost you a lot of money to bring in here. It could be a 2-year deal with Will Fuller. And what he does best is take the top off defenses. And Jameis Winston loves to air out the deep ball. So, I mean, if you get Will Fuller and place him next to Mike Thomas, that definitely helps. And then you still draft your wide receiver. You're looking pretty good in the wide receiver room. And also the Saints will more than likely, in the undrafted ranks or toward training camp, bring in another veteran wide receiver or so to bring in. So you might have another Rashad Matthews type signing that comes in during camp. And I'm talking about a guy like maybe a D.D. Westbrook or a Keelan Cole, guys like that were productive, then had injuries kind of slid off, but still young enough to kind of catch on with you and kind of step that thing up. And besides, look, we still got Kevin White stuck on this team for whatever weird-ass reason. But Will Fuller would definitely be a guy that would be interesting. And they saying the Packers are looking at him, but he could provide desperately needed element. In 55 career games, he totaled 49 such receptions, including 14 in 2020 with the Houston Texans. And they talking about how, like he said, Randall Cobb pulled in 6 passes for 20-plus yards. And that's the type of receiver you want. He's a deep threat with sensational speed. So, I mean, he wouldn't cost a lot. And I don't think the Saints ever talked to Will Fuller. And to my research, they've never talked to him. A.J. Green is a good wide receiver. When the Saints looked at A.J. Green some years ago, but he's a little too old in terms of what we're looking for. He had a little productive season there, but he's a little too old in the tooth. The same thing with T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton had a bunch of injuries, and I don't think T.Y. would be incredibly expensive, but rumors on the streets that he might end up going back to the Colts and finishing his career there. But T.Y. Hilton, I guess at a certain, I don't know if he still retained some of the speed that he had as well. But I'm kind of, I'm like, the same with Julio Jones. These are guys that, I don't know about those guys, And then you look at Jarvis Landry and they'd be like, well, Jarvis Landry would be a good addition. He's not super fast, but at the same time, he catch everything he's throwing. You throw to him, but listen, Jarvis Landry wants $20 million a year, and that's not going to work. There's nobody going to pay you $20 million a year, Jarvis. You out your mind, bro. And then, of course, like I said, what seems like to me the best move for the Saints, if they needed just another deep threat veteran wide receiver, why not reach for Fuller, who's cheap? But from my knowledge, they never talked to Will Fuller. I don't understand what that's about. But at some point, the Saints ask about these guys, and then they kind of fixate in on the draft, is what it looks like. So let's keep it moving, fam. And speaking of the draft, Matt Corral rumors, the Saints, Steelers, Falcons, Panthers, Eagles meeting with Corral, the Ole Miss quarterback, and they're meeting with him. This is from Tim Daniels. Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral will rack up frequent flyer miles next week as he's reportedly scheduled to visit with 5 teams ahead of the 2022 NFL Draft. Schefter reported Friday that Corral is slated for meetings with the Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Eagles, Steelers. In a year without a consensus number 1 quarterback prospect, interviews could play an important role in determining the order that the top QBs come off the board when the draft gets underway. and April 28th in Vegas. Corral, is in competition with Liberty's Malik Willis, Pitt's Kenny Pickett, and Cincinnati's Desmond Ridder to become the first QB selected. Now, there's had some mock drafts where you've seen Pickett slide, and then there's been, I mean, they had him sliding. They had Malik holding firm, and Desmond Ridder, the Cincinnati Bearcat quarterback, is steadily rising. But when you talk about draft picks, right, fam? When you talk about the draft picks in terms of what the Saints used to get 2 first rounders this year, people said 2 wide receivers. I don't think Brother Prime, I don't think it's 2 wide receivers here that the Saints look to. This was partially, and word on the street, partially done to reach at a quarterback. Now, whether it's at 16 or 19, I'm thinking that if you're making this move, 16 will probably be a QB. You know, it depends on who's there. If Chris, you know, but if the Saints, is several quarterbacks the Saints like. They like Pickett. They like Ridder. They like Corral. And the other quarterback that they're scouting too in Sam Howell, the North Carolina quarterback. So they've had an opportunity to go and send assets, draft assets, to watch every one of these quarterbacks. Howell, Pickett, Willis, Ridder, Corral, all of these guys, the Saints had an opportunity to do in very heavy scouting into. But word on the street is they really like Pickett. But the issue is, does Pickett end up where the Saints want him to? Now, they like Corral. I just don't know how much, or they kind of just still going through the motions to find these guys. But one of those first round draft picks most certainly is going to be a quarterback. So just get ready for it, fam. It's going to be a quarterback. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but you got to remember, fam, that the Saints only have Jameis Winston on a 2-year deal estimated at $28 million. So, you know, that's what it is, 2 years, and that's not very long, fam. That's not very long at all. So the Saints are definitely looking for a quarterback to fill in. Could it be Corral? They like him. He had a damn good pro day. You know, he has the intangibles. They, able to talk to him. The only knock on him is he had a little injury situation that happened, and they said he had attitude problems. So we can't really deal with that. But let me tell you something, being an LSU guy and watching this kid play, when he first stepped on the field against the LSU, this was a couple years ago. This dude had 400 yards passing, 400 yards rushing. He was basically the offense of the squad himself. I mean, he's fantastic. He can throw the ball. He's very athletic. He's intelligent. But like I said, the thing is whether or not, the Saints really like him there. And of course, I keep hearing these little articles and people mentioning the Saints going to draft a quarterback out of Ole Miss. Well, the last guy they took from Ole Miss with a first-round draft pick. You remember who that guy was, right? Could this be that guy? What's up, brother T. Scott? What's happening, fam? David Jones, what's up? Yeah, but listen, fam, he ain't too small. What is it? What is he, 6'1", 6'2"? Don't forget the quarterback that just retired height requirement. So the Saints are beyond size. If the guy could play, the Saints going to reach at him and get him. This guy is fantastic, man, in terms of his athleticism. He can throw the ball. But, like I said, they really a lot of the scout experts, per se, like Pickett. They say he's the most pro-ready. And this guy broke Marino's passing records over at Pitt. So that goes to show you a lot of stuff. When you come from a school, and I guess we can say that too about Ian Book and what he was able to do with Joe Montana's records at Notre Dame, right? But he didn't have all the sensational fanfare that Corral has or a Pickett has when you take down a Hall of Famer's college records. People going to pay attention to you. So a lot of people really like Pickett. Me personally, I respect Pickett, but I like Ridder and I like Willis. I like Willis a lot. But the Saints will have an opportunity to get one of the top 5 there. Who is it going to be? We'll see. But wouldn't it be funny that the Saints draft Corral out of Ole Miss, and this will be the first time the Saints took a quarterback out of Ole Miss in the first round since Archie Manning? Could you believe that? Wouldn't that be something to behold? that the Saints draft Corral, the first quarterback taken from Ole Miss since by the Saints since Archie Manning. How would that be? Anyway, that's what's going on with that. Saints going to meet up with him soon. Let's keep it moving, fam. Tom Brady, Sean Payton joining Dolphins next year isn't rocket science, says NFL Exec, which is fine with me because, listen, we're going to beat the hell out of Tom Brady this year. He'll go to the AFC. It's a softer conference. Sean Payton, go follow him over there to Miami where Tyrann Armstead is. You can go on up out of there. Yep, that's fine. That's perfect. That means come on up and give us whatever you got. You know, like the old bounce song, give me what you got for a pork chop. Now, I don't eat pork, but I'm just, it's just how the song go. But Tom Brady, Sean Payton joining the Dolphins next year isn't rocket science, says NFL executive. So we'll see. Yeah, you can send them on up out of there and package and ship them to the Dolphins. That's totally fine with me. That makes a lot more sense than shipping them to your Western rival Cowboys. Let's get into it. Here from Mike Charari. At least one NFL exec believes there's a good chance quarterback Tom Brady and, yes, former Saints coach Sean Payton will join the Dolphins in 2023. According to Mike Sando of The Athletic, the anonymous executive said, quote, if Tom Brady, let me highlight this sucker, if Tom Brady does not redo his contract, it does not take a rocket scientist to know that Brady and Sean are going to be in Miami next year. Pro Football Talk's Mike Fiore, as I call him, reported Thursday that Brady had been planning to join the Dolphins as a minority owner when he retired on February the 1st. The plan would have been for Miami to acquire Payton to be the head coach, followed by Brady coming out of retirement and the Dolphins acquiring his contractual rights from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Dolphins reportedly decided to reverse course when former head coach Brian Flores filed a discrimination lawsuit against the organization on the same day Brady retired. Brady still came out of retirement, but he will play for the Bucs once again in 2022. Meanwhile, Coach Payton decided to step away from coaching this season, which led to the Saints elevating defensive coordinator Dennis Allen. Payton made it clear that he's not permanently retired, however, and may consider head coaching opportunities in the future. Brady has 1 year remaining on his contract, meaning he can conceivably play anywhere he desires in 23 if he chooses to continue his playing career. The 44-year-old veteran has already firmly established himself as one of the greatest players, blah, 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 blah. Now, like I said, this is what say you in the Who Dat Nation. Now, see, listen, I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at this article at all. I actually think, I know T. Scott. Didn't they just hire a coach? Yeah, he gonna get the hell out the way. That don't matter, bro. None of that mattered. This how ridiculous it is to coach in the NFL. A guy signed a 3-year deal to be the coach, and then he coaches 1 year and he fired. Like the Texans coach, like the former Arizona coach Jim Wilkes, who's also popped up on the latest coach to join Brian Flores' lawsuit. You know, saying that the Rooney Rule is a sham, and we all knew that. We knew that. We knew that. We been knew that. The Saints bust that move too. Yes, our beloved Saints did the same damn thing that most teams do. They go out and they hire so-called minorities. Or interview them and then go back to the guy they wanted to be clear of the rule. We know this happened, fam. Come on. But anyway, this would be ideal, and I'll touch on that a little later, but this situation, Tom Brady and Coach Payton going to the AFC, would be ideal for the Who Dat Nation, because you don't want to see this guy coaching for the Cowboys in the regular season. You got to see him, and then in the playoffs, you got to see him. Hell no. If he wants to coach and get to the Super Bowl, let me see you on the other side in the Super Bowl representing the AFC. Or once every 4 years when we play the Miami Dolphins, we'll see it. You know, that's how it should go. Anyway, let's keep it moving. This is also the biggest question facing each NFL head coach heading into the 2022 draft by Alex Ballentine. So if you go down, and of course the top one is Dennis Allen. Who are the Saints trading up for? That's the big question that everybody wants to know. Who are the Saints trading up for? Well, let's look what their account is. Everything New Orleans Saints have done this offseason points to a win-now mentality. With Coach Payton stepping down as the head coach, they turned a longtime defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, to take the reins and retain most of their talent despite starting the offseason well over the salary cap. The Saints trade with the Eagles was just the latest move to place heavy expectations on Allen. General Manager Mickey Loomis doubled down on the 2022 draft by shipping off the 18th, the 101 and the 237 along with the 223 first rounder and 224 second rounder for the 16th, 19th, and 194th picks in this year's draft. Thank you, Brother Prime. He says Brady will be Debo this year. Stay retired. All right. Thank you, Prime. What's up, free game? All right. So it's hard to believe the Saints don't have specific players in mind who would motivate such a trade, as they're paying a high price to acquire a second round selection. With Jameis Winston as the assumed starter, this feels like a move to take a quarterback in the middle of the first round and maintain the ability to add an instant starter elsewhere in the first round. As Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network reported, multiple GMs feel the Saints think there are two impact starters from being a playoff team. The question facing Allen is whether he can keep up the streak of 5 straight winning seasons without Coach Payton or retired superstar quarterback Drew Brees. The issue is, and the reason why they keep talking about, the Saints paying a heavy price, it's not a heavy price when you consider the fact that the Saints have the Sean Payton card once again. The Sean Payton card. What's up, Space Ghost? And the Sean Payton card, the Sean Payton card, the Sean Payton card. The Sean Payton card is the 2023 move when he comes back to coaching after talking this year. Whether it's the Dolphins or the Cowboys or whatever, we're gonna get draft compensation for Coach Payton. We're gonna get some stuff here. Just gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it real with you. We're going to get some stuff for Coach Payton, man. You understand? We're going to get 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, might get a third-round pick. We're going to get some money. When they traded for Gruden, who didn't win a Super Bowl up to that point, when the Buccaneers back in, 2002, traded for John Gruden, they gave up 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and $8 million to get that dude there. And that's prior to him winning the Super Bowl. That guy ain't have a Super Bowl. We talking about a Super Bowl winning coach right now. So you're going to get 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and money, or a player for the likes of Sean Payton. You're going to be, and then you're going to have at least several teams that's going to be in the fray next year to acquire his services. And you got some coaches like McDaniels in Miami, who's just a guy they just going to push out the way. You got some of these guys that they brought in, these guys, like they got like a look of the deer in the headlight look. These guys, if the right coach come, you don't think a guy like Ross down in Miami gonna push that guy aside and get Sean Payton? Come on, man. And I know that's what it's about. If Sean Payton pop up there, they're gonna push all these guys out the way to get him. So we're gonna get draft compensation. That's why it's not a big deal. The Saints are doling out this pick to get this extra pick because they're gonna be swimming in picks. But most of these people don't have the imagination to say, I forgot about that. The Sean Payton card. Of course. I'm sitting up here saying it the whole damn time. It's the Sean Payton card, you ninny. It's the Sean Payton card is what it's about. But anyway, does Dennis Allen have what it takes to continue to win it? Yes, he does. If the Saints do this thing right. Now, I can respect them reaching out and talking about going snatch at and see if they can get a receiver that can help out the wide receiver room. But my thing is, according to Sport Track, the Saints just got just under $19 million in salary cap remaining. If the Saints sign a veteran wide receiver like a Will Fuller to a 1 or 2 year deal, he ain't gonna cost you a lot of money, but you can sign him to a 2 year deal. That'd be one thing that you don't have to really look at in the draft and support. But the Saints have made it up in their minds is that they're going to swing for the fences in this thing and get a young quarterback with Jameis just on a 2 year deal. Just a 2 year deal. And you say, okay, what about Ian Book? Ian Book is a 4th round draft pick quarterback. Andy Dalton on a 1 year deal. And remember, that was Sean Payton's pickup. Ian Book is Coach Payton's quarterback he drafted, not Dennis Allen's. Dennis Allen is going to select his own quarterback who he believes in, it, whether it's Pickett, Corral and I'm kind of feeling on that Dennis Allen might reach at Corral. We'll see. He'll be available there because I don't see Corral going, prior to that, but we'll see. But if it's Corral and or any other quarterback or Ritter, he'll pick his guy behind Jameis going into the future. And with the 2-year contract said, and I'm happy to get Jameis back, but pretty much what it does is it makes Jameis a bridge. All it is Jameis is a bridge. Now from Drew to, Jameis going to have his 2 years, and then bam, he's going to fork it over to the young quarterback. A 2-year contract for a guy at Jameis is 27, 28 years old right now? That's a bridge quarterback, bro, just to keep it real. 28 mil. 21 of it's guaranteed over 2 years, which is still a bundle of money, more money than Jameis has made prior to this deal. But still in all, Dennis Allen's going to pick his own quarterback. That's what the hell that move is. Now, of course, I'll be like, yeah, man, we get some of these guys, get this guy, that guy. But no, the Saints are going to get they're looking at a quarterback, fam. No doubt about it. They're looking at a quarterback. Anyway, yeah, and the Saints could still have success, but you got to add more talent to the wide receiver room. You've got to figure out, and probably one of the biggest unspoken about things is you've got to be able to fix the offensive line. Fix? What you mean fix, Q? Fix the offensive line, find out what players go where. These writers keep putting this stuff out here. Not all of them, because a lot of them are really smart people. But you got some of these people, stupid as hell, talking about putting James Hurst as a blindside offensive lineman. That and keeping Ramczyk at right tackle. Are you serious, bro? I mean, I don't know if these people ever played football before or understand outside of just a writing perspective how stuff's supposed to work, especially when you're paying offensive linemen a boatload of money, tons of money, and they're the best ones, the best offensive linemen or the best tackle you're going to have is going to protect the quarterback's blind side. Jameis is a right-handed quarterback. You're going to need your best tackle on his blind side. The only way you keep Ramczyk at right tackle is if you have a left-handed quarterback, and that will become his blind side. But for whatever reason, they keep writing Hurst in the left tackle. I say, Hurst, if you know how to study film, you see why Hurst has not been consistently a starter in this league. He struggles mightily against pass rushers. Mightily. Why? Because somebody dipped his shoes in cement. He don't have a good job of lifting his feet. They got heavy feet. So he struggles mightily. You don't want him. And of course, if you watch him play over time, like 2 or 3 games worth of games is enough for Hurst. Anything over there, he starts struggling. I'm telling you, and that's a sign of a swing offensive lineman, a player that's supposed to only play a certain amount of time. Like if you have an injury, the guy comes in, he plays a couple of games, and your starter comes back. That's what some of the roles of a James Hurst is. He's a swing guy. Every now and again, to injury to your offensive guard or tackle, he plays, but he shouldn't be starting from you unless you got problems. You got problems if he's starting full-time for you. I'm going to keep it real. But for the last time, Ramczyk got paid big dough. He's a top 3 high-paid tackle in the business. Top 3 in the NFL. In terms of offensive linemen, he's up there. You're not going to keep your best and one of the highest paid offensive linemen at right tackle when you got a quarterback that needs the blind side protected on the left side. Just doesn't make any sense, man. Plus, the dude played left tackle in college. That's how he got to the pros and got drafted to be a tackle. It's because, and the only reason why he didn't start at tackle is because Big Tyrann Armstead was occupying the left tackle position when the Saints drafted that man out of Wisconsin. Yeah, and he moved him over to the right tackle position. There was nothing stopping him from assuming his former role as an offensive lineman at the left tackle position. Outside of that, you got to situate and find out the rest of these guards here. Who's going to play what and where? Where does Cesar Ruiz line up in this equation here? That's what it comes down to. We have to figure that out. We have to resituate and find out exactly where these guys go at. We know Ram at left tackle. Who's going to be your right tackle? Do you draft somebody? Is the guy on the team? Do we move Andres Pete out there to right tackle? Is Landon Young that guy? You see what I'm saying? These are some of the questions you have to find out, because the big question is Cesar Salad Ruiz. Where the hell does he fit at? Where the hell does Cesar Ruiz, who's a first-round draft pick, fit in the equation on the Saints offensive line? He is not a guard. He struggles at the guard position. He's awful there. And the decent play that we did see at the center position when he played it, he did all right. He did better at center than he did at guard because that's what he's comfortable playing at. Do we make him a center this year? And see, those are questions that we have to answer because the Saints offensive line last year in games, they didn't look right. You could see the crack, like in the Carolina game when they dominated Green Bay, then they came against Carolina. They was like, there was no guts, no heart, no nothing. I mean, they getting pushed around. Nobody saying, the hell with this, let's handle business. And that happened several times last year where the Saints offensive line guts just went to hell. Just evaporated and allowed themselves to get dominated with their heads down. They're going to have to find that toughness, that meanness, that physicality again. They're going to have to find that again. So those are the questions I have on the offensive line. It's easy to fix the wide receiver positions. Just start signing people with a pulse that's fast. You know, just got a couple of people out there, reach at them. You know, I'm cool. The Saints is reaching out, as what you want for Brandin Cooks, who making $12 million before the extension, but you're not talking to a Will Fuller who not going to even get. You're not going to even pay $7-8 million for a Will Fuller on a 1 or 2 year deal. That'll be advantageous for the Saints to do, just to add a veteran there, then draft your wide receiver, then figure out what you're going to do on the other way. So if they handle it right, because the biggest problems of the Saints team is the offense. The Saints they need help on the offensive side of the ball. The offensive line I just went over. The quarterback position with Jameis and them, whether they take a quarterback this year or next year, they're looking for a successor already. The running back position, Alvin Kamara goes to court on the 25th of this month. If he misses time, who do you have? You got a 32-year-old Mark Ingram, an unproven Tony Jones Jr., who I like, but the last couple of years he's been hurt. Outside of that, Jamal, whatever his name is on the practice squad, who else do you have? So do you draft somebody? I was pushing them to get Marlon Mack, who you can at least rely on Marlon Mack, who does a lot of the same things Kamara does, run inside out, but they let the Texans sign him. So I mean, they have to build up the offense. That's the main thing. The defense is rock'em sock'em right now. You put Tyrann Mathieu in, that's a championship defense. The special teams are awesome right now. The offense has to be improved in every stay. And even when we talk about finding who the top 5 offensive linemen going to be for your Saints, you still have a lot of issues with the depth. Well, I do like Forrest Lamp, but they need some more people to back up the offensive linemen. We need, like I said, we need running back. We're going to need a running back or so to replace Kamara when he gets knocked off for 4 to 8 games, whatever it may be. The tight end position, we signed J.P. Holtz or whoever this is, and move Taysom to tight end. I mean, is that enough? So, regardless of how you view it, the onus is on the Saints offense this year. The defense, and many times last year, helped the Saints win games. The Saints offense needs help. Everywhere. They need help. They really do. All right, let's keep it moving, fam. I ain't going to cover this article. It's talk about factors that fuel the Eagles Saints draft trade plus optimism for top QB prospects. They had a very interesting outtake on that, but we just talked about a lot of that in this previous article. Former Saints punter Thomas Morstead has signed with a new team, and it's the Miami Dolphins. So he's following Teron Armstead down on Miami. Is that a prelude to them bringing Coach Payton down there too? Tommy Morstead's a Miami Dolphin, so big ups to him. Better that he's a Dolphin than a Atlanta Falcon, in my view. And like I said, we got big love and respect to Will Lutz and his wife. They had a beautiful baby there, as you can see, and they're very happy. So Will's healthy. Will the Clutch Lutz is happy. He got a new addition to his family. So a salute to the Lutz family and their new bundle of joy. How about that? And then finally, family, this is my mock draft, as I call it, Mock 6. A TSC Mock 6. And of course, you can see with the various picks, you can see I kind of went out. And this mock, I kind of put my thought process in terms of how the Saints will look at it. Not so much what I'm doing, but I'm like, okay, the Saints obviously like these people. They're talking to this guy. So many articles and interest is affixed to it. So This time around, I try to switch it up a little bit different, as you can see. Wide receiver in the first round, Chris Olave. Of course, we know that's the guy that Mike's mentoring. He'll be a fantastic addition to the wide receiver room. I still would like a veteran, like a Will Fuller, to be there, and then Chris Olave can come in there and help out, right? But a Will Fuller or an addition like that along with Chris Olave would be a terrific mix to the wide receiver room, so we don't have to exclusively put that much pressure on our young players, our young wide receivers, as they just carry their weight and they gradually improve. And with the other pick, I took Pickett, Kenny Pickett, who the Saints like. They like Kenny Pickett. And now this quarterback, they like him a lot. He broke a lot of records at the University of Pittsburgh. A lot of Dan Marino stuff he took down. So a lot of people looking at him, tall, can throw. And the knock on this guy, talking about he got small hands. You know, and I mean, like, goddamn, man. We can't draft him. He got his hands is small. He got baby hands. What about all of the touchdowns and passes, the yardage that he threw at the University of Pittsburgh? Oh, that don't matter. When you come to the pros, you got to have big hands. Like, who comes up with this stuff, man? You know how many big hand quarterbacks that's garbage as a dog that passed through the NFL? How about Ryan Leaf? Ryan Leaf had big hands, and he still stunk. It's just absolutely, who are these dumbass scouts with these stupid, you know what this is? I'm going to tell you what this is. They have to pick something to throw at a prospect, so they pick small hands to try to diminish him from getting small hands. Small hands, are you crazy? Did you not look at the tape? Did you not look at all of the stuff that he did? He took Marino's records down at Pitt. That's an accomplishment with his small hands, but he get to the league and ain't gonna have no success. How many big hand quarterbacks like Jim Drunk Miller and the rest of these dumbass quarterbacks that we've seen over time with big hands and size to go with it, and they are garbage? Huh? How about Blake Bortles? Does he have big hands? Huh? Well, let's answer that. How about Blake Bortles? Blake Bortles has big hands? Huh? Blake Bortles have big hands. How good is he? Huh? What about the rest of them? Y'all throw some names out there. What other quarterbacks else they got out there that got big ass hands out there too? That's stanking up the place. Huh? Come on, man. That's just something they say to trying to diminish the man. But trust me, he gonna go in the first round, him and his small ass hands. Then in the second round, pick Abraham Lucas, who's a pretty good offensive lineman, big guy out of Washington State. So what I'm doing is I'm giving the Saints, like, going off of their mindset. So as you see, most of these picks are offensive in nature because the onus is on the offense, family, for real. We need help in the wide receiver room. They want a quarterback, so they reaching that Pickett. He's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", up in that range. Tall quarterback, has some accuracy to him. Really smart, high IQ quarterback. A lot of people anticipate Pickett being going by the top 10, top 12. If he falls to you at 19, take him. I took him at 19, which is a value. Abraham Lucas will act as your right tackle because I really do, you know, looking at it, the Saints really need help on the offensive line. They hadn't figured it out yet, but Lucas will provide good help as that right tackle. And of course, if you got a guy like Landon Young who can still battle for a guard position, who can play guard or tackle, so your value is not lost on him. But Lucas would make a good value at the second round pick to add to your offensive line. So you see those top three picks, the two first and the second are offensive in nature. The third one is perfect because it puts Dameon Pierce, who's a former Florida running back. If you put the tape on, and I've mocked and covered and scouted Dameon Pierce. Pierce is a phenomenal running back with power, inside out running game, catch the ball out the backfield. He is a very dangerous running back and would fit the Dennis Allen mindset of having a power rush style. That when Dennis Allen got up there on the press conference when he was first hired and talked about his offense and the running game, the first thing he said the passing attack, he talked about an explosive running attack. Then he started talking about the rest of the stuff. So you know he wants to run a ball. Well, Dameon Pierce could do that. He can catch and run, uses a stiff arm well, is shifty, is a good running back, and it does provide security in case Alvin Kamara is suspended for half the season or whatever occurs, because you know they don't like you. The Goodell doesn't like you. If Pierce does provide insurance for Alvin Kamara's suspension, whether that's 4, 8, or whatever it may be, he gives you that value that at the third round. In the fourth round, I went with my first defensive player of the draft, which is Brandin Cooks, who I've mocked before. Brandin Cooks is a fantastic safety. Some have him as the second or third best safety in the draft. Some have him as the fifth. So his value slides between that 2 and 5 range, but this guy is phenomenal. He's a hitter. He's intelligent. He takes good routes. Now, every now and again, you can move him with your eyes if you're shifty enough at the quarterback position. There you go, Kenneth Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell have big hands? I'm saying some of these guys, man, is ridiculous. But Brian Cook is a fantastic safety. Say, well, Q, we got 1 million safeties, Q. Why would we need a safety on the back end? Because the million safeties you have, P.J. Williams, Daniel Sorensen, and so on and so forth, these guys, these veterans, these older guys are on 1-year deals. So what happens next year when Sorensen gets out of here, or P.J. Williams? You'll keep 1-year dealing them? Sooner or later, you're going to have to address the safety position. Cook does provide a good value in the 4th round. He's a safety that's very aggressive. He'll knock your head off. Go watch the tape. Very opportunistic when he gets near the ball. Cook will be a good he'd be a good addition for you in the back end of your secondary. And you look at Marcus Maye's 3-year deal. If we get Tyrann Mathieu, that works as well. But then Brian Cook still can come in and help out. And Cook does provide some versatility in the defensive backfield as well. Just watch the tape on him. Then in the 5th round, I reach at another wide receiver. Why 2 wide receivers? Actually, 3 wide receivers. Actually, in the 5th round, I was going to reach out a defensive lineman, but I was like, nah, we got enough of those guys. How about another wide receiver? And this guy, what a wide receiver, because Tyquan Thornton is the fastest wide receiver that in NFL combine history. Ran the fastest time ever. He's 6'1", 6'2"-ish in that range, about 210-ish, and is not as great of a catcher of the ball that you would like, but in traffic. But when you throw him the ball out ahead of somebody, he run up under it and take it to the house. That's sensational speed for a guy at 6'1", 6'2". It has sprinter speed, a sprinter's background there. So Tyquan Thornton would be a real good addition for the Saints wide receiver room. You adding more speed along with Deontay Harty and Aesop Winston, Quan Baker, Jalen McCleskey. These are speed guys, but Tyquan has size to go with his speed. And Jameis Winston lays that thing out there, Tyquan Thornton to run up under it. So to get him in the 5th round, plus he has special team applications. He has special team applications. He can kick return, punt return for you. All right. And then, of course, the last one was Josh Johnson, who's another big wide receiver who has some speed components to you. And you can see why I'm leading right here. The majority of it is offensive. Now, in that last one, I could have went defensive line. I mean, a linebacker. I could have got me a special teams linebacker. But I kept it wide receiver. I'm flooding my wide receiver room with as much talent as I can stand and provide as much competition in that room as I can stand, because we're going to need some help from that room. And by the way, with addition of our new wide receiver coach, he's a rookie. He's going to have to learn the NFL way of doing things. But Cody Burns is your new wide receiver coach for the Black and Gold, fresh out of the University of Tennessee. So if injuries occur in your wide receiver room, you've got depth, is what I'm saying. If Mike have a setback, Mike Thomas has a setback there, we good. You know, but in my world, I do reach out and I sign Will Fuller and bring him in here. And then I draft Chris Olave. Then I add Tyquan Thornton. And those guys, and then, of course, I'm going to have undrafted guys that I kind of bring in there. And I want to provide as much competition as I can in that wide receiver room, because when the time comes, you never know, fam. When injuries occur, you got to be ready. And that's my mock, or what I TSC mock, which is mock 6, baby. And then finally, on the back end of that thing, I started the broadcast off for Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins dies after being hit by a car. Young brother, 24 years of age, former first-round draft pick out of Washington. Didn't get a fair shake there in Washington. Ultimately was trying to build himself up to be probably, you know, maybe take over the quarterback job in Pittsburgh. He had a supreme opportunity. But life is not promised to us all. You know, we know, like the older people were saying about, you know, you never know in life. And this poor brother was hit by a car and killed in South Florida. So, you know, this is tragedy. So rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins, and condolences to the Haskins family, because this is really tough to hear something like this happen to anybody. You know, we talk about the players. But people, period, that are not celebrities, are ball players. But Haskins, man, this is tough. This is a tough one. So condolences to the Haskins family, man. And rest in power to Dwayne Haskins, man. Young brother, only 24 years of age. So anyway, let's do a brief recap to the family members. Tyrann Mathieu, Eagles had virtual meeting with him. And of course, the thing is, and we covered this and we talked about what's going on and why isn't he signing? Well, the reason is like Ian Rappaport mentioned, that he's holding out for the right money and wants to hold out for the right team. So obviously the Saints made him a deal, and it wasn't the type of money that he wants, because obviously the Saints is the right team. It's his hometown team. He grew up watching them. So it's not that, it's the money. So depending on what kind of offer the Saints gave him, it obviously wasn't the type of money that he was interested in to put pen to paper. So if you get the Eagles involved, perhaps the Eagles can get that price up. And if the Saints are interested in signing him, they can get it done. And we talked about it. So, okay, well, Q, what would that look like? Well, it'll look like this. Tyrann Mathieu, as Sport Track says, that his market value set just south of $15 million, 4.8 to be precise. And a deal that Mathieu would more than likely favor is a deal at $3,044.5 million, which would give him more than he made. Remember, he was making $14 million or 13.8 with the Chiefs per year on the $40+ million deal that he had with them 3 years ago that he signed. Well, this one he wants a bump up. And this would indeed be a nice payday for him in 3 years, 45.5, or 3 years at $50 million, as Scoob says, which is more than likely be realistic. If the Saints say, listen, we'll give you 3 years at $50 million, he'll sign, he'll put pen to paper today. So we'll see where it all falls. And if he signs prior to the draft is the question that we have to figure out, because that'll be idyllic for him to do that, sign prior to the draft before teams start feeling needs with the draft. It kind of drives these players' asking prices down. So Tyrann Mathieu, perhaps we could see a signing or a decision on him signing prior to the draft. Hopefully that would be a smart maneuver, even though it has not been out of the realm of possibility for players to go beyond the draft and try to get a deal on the other side. Me personally speaking, just me, if I'm Tyrann Mathieu, if I'm a ball player in the NFL, period, and I got an asking price, I'm trying to get that deal done before the draft, because after the draft, them teams have less money and less needs. So if he got a smart agent here, hopefully the agent is telling them, look, Tyrann, when we get close, we need to get this done before the draft. We can pretend like we ain't in the rush and all that shit. But if you like money, and obviously you do, then you might want to try to get this handled prior to the draft. When them teams start getting them needs done, they're going to have less interest in you. Unless an injury occurred down the line, do you really think they're going to break them off like that on the other side? It diminishes it a bit. A lot, to be honest with you. So my timeline, I'm saying, realistically speaking, it could change, but I'm saying prior to the draft, Tyrann Mathieu decides on where he wants to go, whether it's here or somewhere else. All right, we talked about the Brandin Cooks receiving a 2-year deal. After the Saints inquired about him, Texans turned around and said, hey, man, that'll give the man a 2-year extension. And, of course, we talked about some of the wide receivers that's still available insofar as the Saints. Will Fuller's a guy that I'm pressing that. He wouldn't cost you a lot of money to get him in. He's still very young, and he's healthy. Would be a good addition. Takes the top off the defense. Would give the Saints a veteran wide receiver with absolute track star ability. Jameis Winston lays the ball out to him. He gets up under it. We still can get the young wide receiver and have a loaded wide receiver room, man. We can compete. And, of course, we talked about the Matt Corral rumors. The Saints are lying to meet up with him next week, talk to him. And truth be told, the Saints they've done research on all of these quarterbacks in this year's draft, because there's not a clear-cut number one running away with. They are kind of grouped together, even though Pickett heads the bunch because of what he did in college, and he's been more steadier. But Malik Willis is fantastic, man. He's fantastic. Desmond Ridder of Cincinnati's gaining ground, is now clumped in that top 5 too. And some have Ridder ahead of Corral. Some have, a couple of Sam Howell from North Carolina is climbing into that mix too. So I guess it depends on what style of quarterback you like. But some of these guys all clumped together. So the Saints doing their due diligence. Tom Brady, Sean Payton joining Dolphins next year isn't rocket science, says one NFL exec. We covered that and talked about the potentiality of Tom Brady going to the Dolphins. And there was Brian Flores, remember, in his lawsuit, that talked about an unnamed quarterback that he was supposed to meet with. Y'all remember this? This was before Tom Brady signed a deal with Tampa Bay. That Stephen Ross and the report didn't mention Tom Brady. And I said during the time when this first came out, I said that's Tom Brady they're talking about. And then it came out that it was Tom Brady. But then remember, the owner of the Miami Dolphins said that didn't happen, that he wasn't trying to get him to collude and do all this kind of stuff. And now reports are indicating that Tom Brady was there at a yacht party. So it goes to show you, this little stuff going away, but Stephen Ross should be relieved of his duties as the coach of that team. Just like this other guy, what was the coach, the other owner, doing stuff too. These guys need to have their teams taken away from them, man. You know, but we'll see how it all shakes as we move forward. All right, and then we talked about Dennis Allen, who the Saints are trading up for. We cover that. We know the Saints and rumored all the way around. It's not a very good kept secret, like Zion Williamson coming back playing in the plans is not a good. It's a very wide open secret now. It's very well known. It's open source that the Saints made a move like this to get up into the mid ranges so that they can look at a quarterback. They want a eventual guy for Jameis Winston. Jameis is seen as a bridge quarterback. That's why he only has a 2-year deal. I thought it should have been a lot more. That's a three-year deal. I said a 3-year deal. But 2 years, and Dennis Allen's going to pick his own guy. So in 2 years after Jameis is over with, whoever this guy is they're looking at could be the guy. But that's what the word on the street is. The Saints made the move to get the extra picks to move up, the snatch at a quarterback in the mid-round. They're still going to get the wide receiver, but they're looking at a quarterback. So don't be surprised if the Saints pull that maneuver off. Would be intriguing if the Saints add Ruiz into a mixture. Because I consider Cesar Ruiz, no disrespect to Cesar Ruiz, unless the Saints put the man at center, they need to move him out of here, man. To be honest with you, because I don't want to see Cesar Ruiz as a guard. Not saying that he can't learn the guard position, but he's not a guard. He's not very good at doing that. I'm sorry, he's not. He's a center. And whether or not the Saints have the vision to put him at the center position just to see if he can make it. Because really, that was a Sean Payton maneuver, just like the Taysom Hill thing. Now, the Saints did fix the Taysom Hill thing by converting him to a tight end and saying, you're not a quarterback no more, but you're a tight end. I wonder how Tyrese feel about that. But anyway, they fixed that. Do they fix Ruiz? I mean, this is just a question, man. It's a question. All right, and also we talked about several other articles, including Tommy Morstead signed with the Dolphins. And Will Lutz and his wife had a new bundle of joy to join their family. So congratulations to the young couple. Will the clutch, and we done went over Mock 6 of the draft in this thing. So those are the questions, like the maneuver. And most people can admit, like, man, when they picked Cesar Ruiz, we was like, what? And remember, that was on the back end of, man, what was his name? What was his name? What was his name, family? The offensive lineman that they try to blame the Saints loss to the Minnesota Vikings on. Come on, I'm trying to think about his name. I'm tripping. But y'all help me out in the chat, fam, on his name. But they try to blame the poorish offensive line play on that lineman when the Saints just collapsed in the playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings the last time we was in that thing. Remember that? And on the back of that, they got rid of him and then moved and then made the trip to get Cesar Ruiz. So I was like, why did you do that? And it was strictly a Sean. There you go, Ern. The professor got it. Larry Wolford. There you go. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Trey. T. Scott said that was a wasted pick. A lot of people didn't like that, but Larry Warford was coming off of two Pro Bowl appearances, right? Y'all remember that? Thank you, Big Ant. Thank you, 504 Co. In the groove. Thank y'all. Thank you, Till. See, I'll be drawing blanks sometimes. So much be circulating around up here. Thank you, L. But the reality is that, man. No, not Nick Easton, Brock. They got it right as Larry Warford. But the Saints, the new regime, I guess I can call it, the new administration, made the decision to fix the Taysom Hill debacle. I ain't gonna call it a debacle, but the question, because it really wasn't a competition last year. Remember when Jameis versus Taysom? Boy, Taysom just didn't. That wasn't a competition. That was like if it was a boxing matchup. That's like putting Shaquille O'Neal up against Sammy Davis Jr. That won't look good. You know what I'm saying? You got a boxing matchup on this side of Shaquille O'Neal, and on this side is Sammy Davis Jr. And that's not a good look. That's what it is. So do the Saints. So they say, you know what? We're gonna move Taysom to the tight end position, and that should help us out as in the tight end room, which it will. People say, Q, I don't like Taysom as the tight end. I mean, what you mean? Taysom Hill would make a good tight end. He would. And if you watch him run around, he's an incredible mismatch to them. And people forget sometimes, as long as Taysom Hill can focus totally on one room. Since he's been in New Orleans, it's been several rooms that this man has been affixed to. Quarterback, running back, tight end, special teams, all of that. He could focus predominantly on just being a tight end. Then it really is just not Taysom by itself. It'll be operated as a group. It's a group approach because you still have Taysom Hill, who will be your starter. You still have Adam Troutman, who will be operating in a reserve role. You still have Jawan Johnson, who the Saints read up with, and then whatever else. And whatever else is Vanette, and we don't know what we're going to get from him. Because sometimes he look good, sometimes he don't. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is that the black and gold, that's improvement there. That was a good move. Now, do the Saints consider moving Ruiz to the center position, or do they trade him? That was not a good move. That was one of the last mistakes Coach Payton made by taking that man. Yeah, we need a center. We felt like Cesar Ruiz would be a good fit in there. And then when we get to training camp, he's trying to turn him into a guard. You know why? Because he's seen that Ruiz is not better than McCoy at the guard. And you can't justify having Ruiz sit behind McCoy at center, so you made him a guard because then Coach Payton said it, and we covered it when it was happening, because people was upset, and they had their right to. I know GM Kev was upset too, because I remember this. Kevin came on the show when this happened, and GM Kev is in the chat now. Say something, Kev. I don't know if you're still in there, bro. But he was upset because this guy was Pat Queen. He wanted Pat Queen to be the man. And I said, the Saints they could have used the Pat Queen on the defense. Could you imagine? Saints took an offensive. I'm like, what? That didn't make no sense because they had guys in the draft that were better than Ruiz. What's the guy from Dallas? Badazi. He was better, highly ranked than Cesar Ruiz in most draft circles at the center position. Badazi. And then there were other people out there who would fit. If the Saints wanted a guard, they could have took a guard. They had several that are available. Some of them not rated as first round draft picks at that range that they could have had. But for whatever reason, this was what Coach Payton. That was not a good move. Now, do the Saints fix it by trading Ruiz before the draft, during the draft? Do they convert him to center to see if he can play the position that he was drafted in? Or do we keep doing this thing where we pretending like he's a guard and then he's blocking people and have two guys coming at him, he don't block none of them? What we going to do here? We need security to be able to run that line. And Cesar Ruiz is in his third year, fam. This is his third year coming in that we need to see something from him. This guy's a first round draft pick in his third year. We need to see what's going on. So like I said, there's flux on the offensive line. We got to figure that out. Who goes where? You know, people like, no, Q, don't move McCoy off the center. Why would you do that? And I was like, because you got to justify to see if Ruiz can play the center position. That's why. If he's a third round pick, I don't give a rat's patootie, you see? But the guy's a first round draft pick. You have to see if he can play the center position that he was selected to do. We got to. We at least got to do that much. But we'll see how it all goes. That was a bad pick by Coach Payton. I said it then. I said, if you keep him at center and he starts at center, we might have something. Because on film, he did a good job at Michigan. But that's not what happened. He came here, Coach Payton turned him into a guard and kept him at guard. And he was trying to turn him into a guard. And I was like, this is a bad idea. So hopefully we'll see what the new coach staff do. Do they try to make him a center again, or do they keep playing this game? We'll see. That's a big part of it. All right. Teal says Taysom will be a good blocking and playmaker tight end. I know of some family members. I see some of the family members say, "Q, I don't like Taysom as a backup, as a starting tight end." H back, they say, yeah, H back. But obviously, to me, I think they're trying to define, kind of compress Taysom's roles and keep him locked to a certain situation as opposed to move him all around. Remember, 2 or 3 years prior to this, when Taysom Hill was at the top doing everything, I was saying, Coach Payton, why are you using Taysom Hill in all these capacities? When he was doing that, Taysom Hill's a quarterback that was playing wide receiver, that was playing tight end, that was playing running back. When you had Latavius Murray sitting down, I think that was an abuse of Taysom to a degree, because why are you putting Taysom Hill in as a running back on 3rd and 1 when Latavius Murray is 10 to 12 pounds heavier than him, inch or two taller than him, and is designed to run an averaging 4 yards per carry, who's made for that? Why are you doing that? And that's what I was saying. See, them type of things, most people didn't want to challenge him at, that I would challenge you on. When people would sit up and say they would just be mesmerized or stuck in some type of fan-based mindset where they don't want to ask no question. They would be just sitting up there, yeah, whatever he say, I'm going to do it. No. You have the ability in questioning what he's doing. So I was questioning. I was like, why are you doing that, Coach Payton? Why are you running this man like this, doing this? And you got Latavius Murray sitting here, who was severely underused in his time in New Orleans. Severely underused. Severely. And that's why I was saying roles should have been given. It would have made things simple. And it's in football. It's not nothing new that certain running backs get certain jobs. Like Kamara's a satellite back. You're moving all around. But you can still bring your short yardage running back in the game. When Alvin Kamara is in there, you just move him to a place where he would draw attention. If I move Kamara in there and I put Kamara off into the slot somewhere, right? You don't think the defense gonna follow Kamara wherever he is? They would decoy him. We used to do the same thing with Reggie Bush. When Reggie come in, we'd put Reggie way out there on the line and have Reggie as a wide receiver, and they'll be paying attention to Reggie, and then we run the running back off to the right off the hip of the right tackle. So we would do this type of stuff all the time. But for a guy like Latavius Murray, he's simply a short yardage back, which means if you need 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, I'm bringing Latavius in there. You see what I'm saying? On certain goal line packages, I'm bringing Latavius in there. You understand? Because you don't want to run Alvin Kamara up against a wall. That's not what he's powerful, but it's no way you can compare the two when you talk about powerful between Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara. Come on, you know? So, I mean, this was the type of stuff we would struggle with at times with Coach Payton. Well, what you doing, Coach? You know, you got this guy here. And then you had Taysom Hill playing wide receiver, this, that, and the third. And I had to stop myself. I was like saying, and y'all remember this, I used to say, Traquan Smith is not as good as he's supposed to be. But is that exclusively Traquan Smith? We know the injury stalled his development and him being a good wide receiver. Because if you go watch the tape on at Central Florida, he taking the top off of defenses in college. But he comes to New Orleans, we don't use him in that capacity. We try to turn him into an inside wide receiver, and that stalled the piss out of his development, shot his confidence down in the ground, as opposed to just build him up in terms of using him as a wide receiver. It took Emmanuel Sanders to come in to really kind of help Traquan Smith see the game differently, and then you start to see him improve on that. His blocking got better systematically over time, but to see him playing inside and outside, playing inside was something that he wasn't made to do. He didn't have that mentality. I'm telling you, it's a different world when you playing inside versus you just going straight on out, catching them balls, going deep top and taking people tops off. But is it the Taysom Hill issue has something to do with that too? Because remember, they would pull Traquan Smith off the field and put Taysom Hill out there as wide receiver. What, you know, Taysom stole a lot of reps for people is what I'm saying. So I would challenge Coach Payton. I said, well, Coach Payton, if you feel like Taysom Hill has all that athleticism, what you need to do is go find some more athleticism for your wide receivers and running backs. If you feel like, damn, I need a spark over here. I need a spark over here. Taysom, come over here. Run over here. Or Taysom could have done, and Taysom just doing every damn thing while the people sitting there, just sitting on the bench watching Taysom play. We got weapons, but yes, man, you got to know how to use these people together. We don't want to overuse our playmakers. Taysom Hill is a phenomenal playmaker, Very few linebackers can stand in front of him and cover him. If he's a tight end, he's a matchup nightmare. How many linebackers can cover Taysom Hill? Very few. Maybe 2 of them, if that. How many defensive backs could cover him? He runs away. He's outrunning defensive backs. So you know damn well most of them linebackers can't cover him. He can catch, he can block, and he's phenomenal. He ain't scared of the inside, and he looks for contact. He's crazy. Like, remember Taysom Hill will run over some bitch and just stand up there and get the jump? Y'all remember that? Taysom Hill run over a defensive back or hit a linebacker, run over him and hit the and get up and start hopping like a. I said that guy crazy over. That's a crazy guy. But see, that's what I'm saying. At the same time, you got to understand that this is not a bad move for Taysom Hill. Moving him over there provides some athleticism. It provides blocking and toughness there as well. So we have to be able to use this stuff. We got to use this stuff, use these players as a team and not overuse them, not over-abuse them, but get them to win as a team. And I think we'll have success. But the reality is that they have to be able to focus so much on the offense because the offense is where it's at. The offense needs help. They really do. So we'll see how it all shakes moving forward, man. But this is going to be interesting going on. Anyway, all right, let's keep it going. T. Scott says, man, I also wish we could have got Wilson and team up with DD. Went Deshaun. What? Nah, you mean Watson? I don't know if you mean Watson. Jameis, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, says Jelani Woods is a must. Yeah, out of Virginia. Yeah, big guy. Yeah, they anticipating him falling to like the 4th or 5th round. Jelani Woods wouldn't be interesting. But I mean, it's also, people are really hard on Adam Trautman. This is Trautman's, 3rd season, I want to say. This is Trautman. Yeah, last year was his 2nd year. This is his 3rd year. He had a bit of a sophomore slump. He was coming on late before he got hurt. Remember the game when Coach Payton was basically using him as the option one, using tight end screens to get him going, and he got hurt in that game. I was like, man, he getting going, then he gets hurt. So it's been frustrating dealing with Adam Trautman, and he's only been here for 2 years, and people ready to ship him up out of here. I'm like, listen, Trautman is a guy that in his first year, he was the 3rd string tight end, not much. The 2nd year, they bumped him up to starter. He wasn't ready, obviously. He started to show promise later on in the season, which he did. But I'm not crazy enough to cut off and say, let's trade Trautman and get rid of Adam Trautman because he a bum. Trautman is not a bum. He's only in his 3rd year, and people got to have some more patience to see what he can do. But Taysom Hill takes the pressure off of him, and they need to operate as a group. Now, in a complementary fashion, Trautman will learn the position, and he'll get better. So we got to remember, it's just 3 years on Trautman. We got to have some more patience on Trautman. People hate Trautman. Hate him. I mean, just remember that he only been here. This is going to be his 3rd year we coming into. So we got to be able to be a little bit more patient with these young players, Cesar and Ruiz intended. Because even though Ruiz is looking pretty bad, remember he playing out of position. He's not a guard. So can we remember that when we think about him and say, well, listen, if you're going to make it, you're going to make it right. There's only two things you can do here to make it right. You can either play him at the position that he's comfortable at, which is center, or trade him up out of here and find somebody else. It's either one or 2 options. You ain't going to sit up here and pretend that he's going to become an all-pro guard because he's not good at that. He's not good at that. He really ain't, man. You put the tape on, brother. Dude, I don't know, would he be? Like, it was 2 big-ass defensive linemen there. And Trautman, I said Trautman. And Ruiz looked at both of them and ain't blocked none of them. How you look at both of them and both of them, you don't get not one of them. You at least get one of them. He ain't got none of them. And that happened several times where he didn't know where to block at. He come in there blocking the quarterback on the ground. He still looking. He's still looking around. Man, we got to figure it out. All right. So we'll see what's going on. Tell me about it. Said Payton always overthinking the draft and play calling. Well, I mean, he gone now. He'll be overthinking it for somebody else now. Trautman, True Louisiana, what's up, fam? Says, yeah, Trautman was more of a blocking tight end, but his potential to get. Yeah, remember, 3rd year, fam. The man is his 3rd year. Right. It's his 3rd year. Teal said, yeah, he got a lot of upside. It's his third year, fam. His third year. Third year. Yeah. People's like, man, let's get him up out of here. I want him gone. I'm like, God damn. How you getting the man up out of here in his third year, man? Don't you believe in development? No, Q, 2 years is all I'm going to stand, and I can't stand no more. I hear you, bro. I hear you. I got you on that. I hear you. We got some people that like 2 years is all I can't stand. I can't stand no more. Troutman, you got to give him some credit, bro. You got to cut him some slack. All right, Dollar says, what's up, Dollar? He said Troutman be slacking for his trade back in the third. He's slacking for his trade back in third production. Graham was a third round, didn't take long to shine, and he couldn't block. Right. Troutman is going, I'm telling you, he's going to be there. He's going to be fine. Larry says he don't drop the ball. He catches Troutman. He should stay healthy. I got you, Larry. I got you, bro. Trey says he don't have it, Q. Bet Taysom look better. Yeah, Taysom going to look better than him, bro. Taysom's more of a playmaker than Troutman. But how could you say he don't have it? And at the tight end position in this third season, the first year he barely played. I mean, he was backed up behind Jared Cook and the rest of them dudes. Thank you, Kevin. As well, GM Kev for being a pro ultimate overlord for 24 months, bro. GM Kev said lots of mocks have us grabbing Jordan Davis with one of those draft picks. If he's there, do you take him? I think I answered this question a while ago. Oh, man. Yeah. Listen, you could use a defensive lineman if you think about it. If you put the draft, if you look at your, if you take a look at the depth chart, Jordan Davis falls to you at those spots, the big dominating sucker like that. You got David Onyemata on a 1-year deal now. David Onyemata got 1 year left on his deal. Okay. Passanio got 1 year left on his deal. Shy Tuttle just got a 1 year. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? So you can reach, and Jordan Davis is there, and you take Jordan Davis. You do have first round draft, 2 picks. Me personally, I think the Saints take quarterbacks there, but if Jordan Davis is there, you still can get Jordan Davis. You still can get a wide receiver, and you can get a quarterback in the second round. There will be one of the 5 available when you pick again in the second round. It will be. I like a lot of people not hip to Strong out of Nevada. You know, operating with Strong, he ran that air raid attack out there. But, you know, you got to look at quarterbacks, but you could get a very good quarterback in the second round as well. But Jordan Davis gives you first round draft pick offensive lineman for the next 4 or 5 years. Defensive lineman that plugs next to David Onyemata. It keeps it. He's not only a clogging force, but he's also a force that you have to block. I mean, he does provide a push too. He's aggressive. So in the 1 year that we'll have Ryan Nielsen yet before Payton comes and takes him to Miami and makes him the defensive coordinator, assistant head coach. I'm telling you, this is shit coming, man. But yeah, Jordan Davis wouldn't be a bad move, Kev, on my part. Jordan Davis would definitely fulfill the Saints' interior speaking. You can't run on him. It'll give you a massive force inside there to plug next door in your mind in the year that you have him. It also will make your edge rushers fire off a lot better because he demands a double team. You can't double team everybody, but Jordan Davis is forced to double team. Thank you, Kenta. Kenta Battle for hitting that subscribe button. Thank you, fam. But yeah, Kev, Jordan Davis, if he falls to you there, you got to take him, man. You got to take him. He's massive. He's a disruptive force. And I don't understand why he's not considered like a top 5, top 10 player. I mean, he's the best interior defensive lineman you have, but it's just other people, other skill positions are valued above him. So he'll slide a bit. And some people say the range where he'll end up being taken is between 10 and 18, somewhere along in there. So it's a possibility. But the Saints have 2 picks within that sphere, or 1 pick, if you look at that scenario, is that they can reach at him. But I wouldn't be mad if you draft Jordan Davis because, like I said, you got Shy Tuttle who played well last year, but it's on a 1-year tender. David Onyemata, 1 year left on his deal. So Jordan Davis does fit. for the 1 year that he plays next to Onyemata, if they re-up with Onyemata, which chances are they do, that you can pair those guys and have a just dominance over the next 5+ years in the NFC South. It's better you have him than him playing against you, I'll tell you that much, and still get your wide receiver and still get your quarterback in the second round. So that would make a very balanced draft. So I'm rocking with you on that, Kev. Thank you for the super chat, bro. All right. What's up, Colorado? Big ups to your fam as well. Yeah, I like Jordan Davis, man. Every time they throw him up there, I'm like, man, listen, bro. But do the Saints have that imagination is what I'm saying. Do they have that? Do they have that? You know, and people say, I'm telling y'all, when Payton comes back, man, next year, you know, in 2023, Payton coming to get his boy, man. Payton coming to get Pete Carmichael. He coming to get Ryan Nielsen. He coming to get him. And just remember, you heard it here first. Payton coming to get his boys. Let me tell you something. All right, my dog says, I wouldn't be mad if we take him, but let me tell you something. If we do, I don't want to hear nothing about no damn offensive tackle or QB at 19. It better be a receiver. Yeah, it's going to be a wide receiver because that's been established, an established need the Saints need, especially because they put pressure on themselves by not picking up a wide receiver so far in the free agency pool. And there's several out there that would fit in terms of finances and otherwise. Will Fuller should not keep saying the same thing. You just need a compliment to Mike Thomas, a guy that could take the top off the defense. And Will Fuller can do that. He's healthy and he won't cost you a lot of money. It can even be a 2-year kind of deal to get him here. And man, could you understand? You still get Chris Olave or whoever you're going to get to add to that, but you have veterans there along with your young guys. And the young guys like Marquez Callaway, Deontay Hardy, those guys are gotten better because of all the reps they got last year. They're coming to the camp looking a lot better. So your room is definitely elevated in talent. So that's why I was saying that you take the pressure off the wide receiver room by adding another veteran next to Mike Thomas, and that helps. Then when you go in the draft and just add to it. So, I mean, they just got to get going. I don't know what they sitting on their ass waiting for. Will Fuller should have been somebody they looked at after they found out that Scantling was gone. Then they looking at Brandin Cooks. You ain't worried about the money because Cooks, prior to the extension with the Texans, he was making $12 million, almost $13 million a year. So you going to inquire to trade for that guy who making $12 million and bring him here, but you still got Will Fuller out there? Now, you ain't going to pay Will Fuller no $10 million per season. You're not going to pay him that. But he's still cheaper than what a Cooks would give you. And he's taller than what a Cooks can give you and got the same speed, if not faster. So, I mean, we'll see what the Saints are thinking on, man. But listen, the offense needs help. The defense is on par. The special teams is on par. Over par, to be honest with you. The Saints offense needs help. They need help in every room. We really do. I'm just keeping it a buck. We'll see. It's still time. It's still a couple of weeks before the draft comes along. The Saints could very well sign a guy like Will Fuller. That's why we be saying this stuff, because it does help put it out there. Like, if people, they got all kind of people be watching the show, man. You wouldn't believe it. All kind of people, players, coaches, all that kind of stuff. If it's Saints related, and it's good at stuff, they'll be like, oh. Because a lot of these guys don't have that imagination. So a lot of them do that. Even them writers do the same thing. They'll be listening, go and watch somebody and get ideas on what articles to write. Y'all know what time it is. So, I mean, at the end of the day, all it's about is imagination, because you got the money. You got the money, and you know how to bend the money where you can pay for your draft picks and get talent on offense and defensive side of the ball. It's always about imagination. And like we were saying about Parker, I think, was that DC? DC said that Parker requested to go to the Patriots. He requested to go there. Who to say I'm going to send you where you request to go? Huh? I'm not sending you where you want to go. I'm going to send you where I want you to go, where I get more value for it. And then wherever it is, hopefully it'll be somewhere you like to go. Because this ain't about you. If I own your rights, and that sounds weird as hell, but if I own your rights, I'm going to send you to where I want you to go so I can get the most value. You see? And more than likely, I don't trade with my rivals. Unless you fleecing them. When is the last time the Saints traded? And I'm going to show it to you. I'll show you a point here. When the last time the Saints traded with the Falcons? Let me know. Answer that. Answer that. Put that in the chat. When the last time the Saints traded with the Falcons? When the last time the Saints traded with the Cowboys? The Walsh move from back in the G? The Steve Walsh baby? Was that the last time? Let me know. The only time I trade with you if you're a rival is I'm going to fleece you. If I'm fleecing you. And I'm going to get the best out of it. You see what I'm saying? But if I'm there and they got another team there and you ain't asking for much because it was a dry market, you just got to be able to have the imagination to pull that off. So do you have, I know these guys mathematically and football-wise have it, but imagination's a big part of this thing. You got to have the vision. That's what they call, visionaries and all that. That's a lot of that vision. Having a vision is that you have to have an imagination to be able to see things that aren't there and be able to piece them together to see if they can work. It's called imagination. They call it visionaries, but it's the same damn thing. There is no vision without imagination. Imagination is what? Just a nation of images that are mental. You got to know how to move this around in your head to see if this fits to what you want it to do. It's simple as that. Some people don't have an imagination. They're just numbers and stuff like that. They don't have an imagination, so things get past them. Where people that's out there make things shake because they got the imagination to put things together in their head and then manifest it in reality. That's what it's about. So the question is, do they have the imagination to make these type of deals and moves? Do they have the imagination to stop drafting Ohio State players outside of Chris Olave, which would probably be good, and start drafting in-state players? Well, do they have the imagination to start developing an actual pipeline of talent from the state of Louisiana? It'll make the football a lot stronger. Do they have the imagination to go to LSU and says, you know what, we're going to start looking at you guys first, as opposed to going way up there to Ohio State to pick our fruit like Payton used to do, almost like he was getting a check from them people to send them boys up there. I mean, I don't understand. But at the end of the day, that has to be established in this new situation, because you don't need to travel to pay all that money to go half the world away to go find talent when talent you're looking at is right up the street. So at some point, we got to learn. Some of this stuff has got to change. It won't stay the same in all of the rhetoric or the mindset, because Payton's not he's not in the building nowhere. And a lot of the stuff was this Payton's way or no way. And that's how you go. And if you buck them, look how the media used to behave. He had a lot of the media, not all of them, but a lot of the media people was lapdogs for Payton. Wouldn't ask him no tough questions. Sit up there asking him about what flavor snowballs he liked to eat. Y'all remember that? So a lot of the stuff that happened is like, okay, listen, no, that's not. We want you to ask, and they get mad at you because you forcing them to do the job they supposed to do, which is to ask the questions that you can't ask because you don't have no press badge. I said, well, Q, you got the press badge. Go up in there. Well, I'm going to do all that and get up in there for one day and get on up out of there. And besides, man, I'm not even down with that, man. The strength in where you are as a separate individual outside of the power structure. And besides, you keep going, you will become the power structure. Let me tell you something. That's how it works. Sometimes it ain't always good to join. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we have to understand that the order for a lot of the things to change, because the Payton mindset is not totally there. His offensive principles are, but some of the decisions that like drove you mad about Coach Payton, like, what are you doing that for? Why did you take this? That stuff is not there anymore. And we did have a brief history with Dennis Allen draft when he was with Raiderland, which his draft picks wasn't that bad, but it's hard for you to take that and put it to now and say it's tough. But I know he's looking for his own quarterback, and hope he got more than enough draft capital to make things happen. So we'll see. Anyway, fam, that'll do it for the show. Much love to the fam. I appreciate y'all for popping up on this thing. And appreciate all you guys. Trey Joe said Q definitely get. Yeah, I ain't playing. I'm not even going to go, man, listen, man, because, see, I don't believe in that, man. I don't get down with that, man. Y'all know how I think. And I'm not one of them. Listen, there ain't nothing wrong with groups if they fit you. You understand? If they fit you, they fit you. But when they try to rip your morale down, try to turn you into one of them, I mean, literally have you walking like them, talking like you, and that you come up in there and you not good enough, but they got to take you and turn you into them. That ain't right, baby. That ain't no fit. You are who you are. Now, you can improve upon yourself. Yeah, you can get stronger, smarter. But when they take you and try to turn you into them, clone you out, nah, no. No, sir. Keep it. Keep it. Because with hard work and diligence, you'll get there anyway. That's the whole thing. All it is about patience and not taking, not cheating to get there. You know what I mean? Do what you're supposed to do. Stay in your lane. Operate patiently and make smart decisions, and you'll become that. You'll replace that. That's the real deal Holyfield at. And that's the mentality that you got to have. You are force unto yourself. You don't realize that. Each and every last one of you are a force onto yourself. And they teach you that you ain't nothing. They try to devalue you. That's how they take you over. They gotta demoralize or take your belief stuff from you by making fun of it. And then, since that's stupid, what you talking about here, and then take it all from you, and then you give it up, and then they give you this bullshit and say, here, this is what you're supposed to believe. And then now they got you. No, sir. Keep it. Keep it. It's all good. I'm all good over here. But anyway, much love to the fam. I appreciate y'all for chiming in with me for an hour and 40-something minutes in this joint. I appreciate y'all for being it. I was supposed to come at y'all on a Friday stream, man, but, you know, busy schedule. I got a lot of stuff going on. But it feels good to finally be able to reach at y'all and talk to y'all on a Saturday. Later on in the day, we'll be returning with the Pelican post-game report, recapping the Pelicans matchup tonight. They got one tonight and one tomorrow. That'll be the final 2 games of the regular season. Then the regular season is out of here. The play-in starts, and your Pelicans are making some smoke. We'll cover that tonight on the Pelican post-game report. We'll open up the phone lines for the family members to chime in on their thoughts of how the Pelicans have been kicking butt and making things happen. T. Scott says, did Fletcher Cox get signed? Fletcher Cox went right back to the Philadelphia Eagles, bro. They cut him and then signed him on a cheap deal. So he went back to them people. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all for chiming in on this thing. Y'all keep y'all heads up. Have a beautiful Saturday. Fam, y'all do y'all thing. And like I said, I'll be back a little later for the Pelican post-game report. Much love to the fam. Salute. Who dat? And I'm out.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
whothatdaily.com. That's right, the whothatdaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, the whothatdaily.com is your site. The whothatdaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform stores where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the